It's Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another live stream fishing show. It is Sunday night and it's time for our live stream show. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We're going to get rolling here on Facebook. Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another Sunday night live stream fishing show. That's right, it's Sunday night and it's time for the Hubbard's Marina live Q&A fishing show. We're going to be talking all about nearshore and offshore fishing tips, tricks, and more. We're going to be giving away free fishing trips. We're going to be talking about some of the great deals that we have going on at Hubbard's Marina for Black Friday. And we're going to be showing some photos and videos of what we've been catching. So, great show lined up for you guys tonight. Hopefully, you're ready for a good time. So, sit back, relax, grab a drink, call your buddies, and settle in because we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking a lot about weather that's coming up, talking about fishing, answering your questions. Tonight, I'm flying solo. I don't have a guest in the studio tonight, so that means I've got more time for your questions. So I will try my best to focus more on the comments coming in and do a better job of answering questions tonight. So, great show lined up for you. Tons of free trips, great fishing tips and tricks, and hopefully lots of good answers to your questions. But I guess you'll be the judge of that. And tonight is Sunday night, December 1st, and it is 8:25 p.m. We're going to start our live stream fishing show up here shortly. We start at 8:30 p.m. So you got about 5 minutes to grab a drink, to comment where you're watching from, tell your friends to join us, because remember, if we get to 300 live viewers between Facebook and YouTube, someone is going to win a free 39-hour fishing trip. So you want more people listening and watching, because the more people watching, the better chances you have of getting that free 39-hour trip. If we have less than 300 live viewers, someone gets a half-price 39-hour trip. So either way you slice it, you got a great opportunity to win a great trip, either at a free total cost or at a discount. So also we have the free 10-hour all-day trip for 2 people and a 5-hour half-day trip for 2 people. So lots of great options and opportunities to win free fishing trips tonight. All you have to do is watch. Sit back, relax, and watch the show. If you are chosen as one of the lucky winners, you just have to shoot me a text to our main office number, which is right on our website. It's 727-393-1947. You shoot me a text to our main office number with your home address, and I'll send you out some free fishing trips. That's all you got to do. So sit back and relax, and let's get this show on the road here shortly. We are going to get started around 8:30 p.m. Until then, make sure you call your friends, text your buddies, comment where you're watching from. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and don't forget to comment where you're watching from. That will help us spread the word, get more people watching the show, and hopefully we'll be able to give away a free 39-hour trip. We are going to give away a free 5-hour half-day fishing trip for 2, a 10-hour all-day fishing trip for 2, and someone's either going to win a free 39-hour or a half-price 39-hour. So lots of great opportunities to win. And we're excited. It's another Sunday night. These Sunday night shows are a lot of fun for me. Get to hang out with you guys and chat about what's going on, show photos and videos of what we've been catching. Always a good time. Plus, we've got killer deals to talk about tonight, guys. I mean, we are almost giving stuff away down at Hubbard's Marina right now for Black Friday. And those deals are going to continue running for a while. So we're going to talk about those deals that we have at the shop. We're going to talk about some trips we have coming up. We're going to talk about our friends at Salt Strong and the crazy deals they're running. We're going to talk about that 39-hour trip that came in this morning with a huge pile of fish. We're going to show off some photos of what we caught this week, and we're going to answer your questions. So hopefully you guys have some questions, and hopefully you're ready for a great show. Don't forget to comment where you're watching from. Don't forget to tell your friends, share the video with your timeline, with your favorite fishing group. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Remember, in order to win those free fishing trips, you do have to comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. All you have to do in order to be eligible to win is comment once. So all you do is go to Facebook. Once you're on Facebook, type in that search bar, Hubbard's Marina. Once you search for Hubbard's Marina, you're going to find our logo and our page. Once you're on our page, you will find that live stream video right towards the top. You can also see it over here, but find it right here. Comment. All you have to do is comment one time. I'm going to comment our main office number. This is the number you text if you win. So if you get chosen as that lucky winner, you text that number and you send us your home address and we'll send you some free fishing trips. It's just that easy, guys. So sit back, relax. We're going to get rolling here in just a second. If you're watching on YouTube, you're welcome to watch on YouTube. It is, I hear it's a little easier to watch on YouTube, but you do have to, unfortunately, comment at least one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page in order to be eligible to win. Speaking of YouTube, there's my YouTube comments. Every time I log in, they want to change something up and make it difficult for me. I will not be deterred, boys and girls. I cannot be stopped. How y'all doing tonight? It is again Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with our another Sunday night live stream show. Hopefully you guys are ready for a great show. I'm ready to get started and show you what we've been catching, what we've been up to, and hopefully answer some questions for you guys. And tonight, I'm going to spend more time with you guys. Don't have a guest in studio tonight, so that's going to enable me to help, that's going to enable me to watch these comments a little better, hopefully, and make sure I answer some of your questions. Because again, this is a Q&A fishing show, so hopefully you have some Q's and I'll have some A's. That was corny. Let's see what we've been catching this week. Let's talk about fishing. All right, so we're going to get rolling inshore as always. We start inshore, work our way near shore, and then talk offshore. So inshore, first things first. This is Mr. John Sasser with one of the many snook that he's caught. The snook are definitely on their way into the Back Bay waters. So those snook hang out in the passes and on the beach all summer long. And anywhere from like early May through late September, early October, those snook are thick in the pass, on the beaches, and even near shore spawning. But when it starts cooling down, these cold fronts start rolling through, those snooks start making their way further into the Back Bay. So areas like Bay Pines, Long Bayou, Weeden Island, Upper Tampa Bay, Double Branch, those areas start seeing those snook that were hanging out in the passes and on the beaches and near shore moving into the Back Bay. So those snook are on the move. And there's still a few of them being caught inside the pass. Don't get me wrong. The guys are still catching a few at night and throughout the day inside the pass and around the beach. But a majority of those snook are moving into the mouths of the rivers, even into the rivers and the bayous and the back bay waters. So further back in the bay you go, the better chance you have. Also, the snook and the redfish are biting better towards the afternoon. In the summertime, we see the best snook bite right in the wee hours of the morning from midnight to like maybe 10, 11 a.m. That seems to be the best time to get the snook in the summertime when the water's really hot. This time of year, it's the opposite. We see the best snook action in the afternoon. Afternoon, like noon, the time, until early in the night time period. When that water warms up, those shallows warm up, those fish get a little bit more frisky because they have time to warm up. So definitely a little bit of a change in the timing as far as when you want to target these fish, but there's still a lot of them around. You just got to know where to look and what to look for. So definitely pay attention to those trends because the trends are changing with the weather. Now, these guys, this is a black drum. This is a little washed out, so it makes it a little bit difficult to see the stripes. But these guys have black vertical stripes on them, just like those sheep's head do. So the flash of the camera is making it a little difficult, but you can see a few of these vertical black stripes. These black drum are actually pretty darn good eating fish. Not a lot of people eat black drum, but a good amount of people do, and these smaller ones are the better eaten ones. When they get real big, they're not so good eating. So definitely the smaller black drum is where it's at, and we catch a lot of these fish this time of year. Those black drum really heat up as the water cools down, just like the sheep's head. I don't know if they're related. I don't know if they're cousins or anything like that, but the sheep's head bite really good this time of year, and the black drum as well. So bridges, piers, jetties, any structured docks, definitely a good area to find those sheep's head, and even a few black drum. This black drum was caught inside John's Pass, probably cruising up and down the jetty looking for shrimp, and it's going to be a good time of year. As these fronts come through and stir up the water, those black drum, they bite really well. When the water's really muddy behind these fronts, like it will be Monday afternoon, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday, that inshore and nearshore water will be muddy. That's when the sheep's head and these black drum bite really well. These black drum, they love fiddler crabs, smaller pass crabs, whole live shrimp on the bottom. They're crustacean eaters. They're eaten directly on the bottom. So that's the goal for those black drum. Bluefish. This is a bluefish. This is kind of unique. We don't see a lot of bluefish in our area, but this is the time of year that we find them. Definitely a unique fish for our area because we don't have a ton of them like they do up in the Northeast. This is more of a Northeast, New Jersey, New York popular species, whereas in our area we only see them a small time of the year, and this is typically when we find them. When that water starts getting cold, we'll see some bluefish, and these guys are a lot like mackerel. They're very fast, they're very reactionary, and they have very sharp teeth. And they typically feed similar to mackerel and in similar areas. So these bluefish are attacking those bait schools at night, and in the early morning hours along the beach, you can find these bluefish. And a lot of times they're either following the mackerel or ahead of the mackerel. Jack Crevalle been very persistent through the last couple weeks. You're finding those big schools of jack still hitting around the area. Another nice snook. The snook are definitely moving. That snook, you can tell how clear it is. He's been moving up and down the beach, probably trying to head inshore for warmer waters. So definitely a good time to catch those snook as they move into the back protected bay waters. But as you can see from the photos, there's still some snook around the pass as well. And that was a quick look at the inshore fishing lately. So we're going to work our way near shore and look what we've been catching near shore. So Captain Sal and Rob had a great half-day charter. This is just a little short trip today on the Hub. and they caught a lot of Spanish mackerel and some smaller kingfish. Nothing real big on the kingfish, but there's definitely a lot of kingfish around. And this was just trolling for an hour or two. They caught a bunch of these fast fighting, easy to catch, and good eating fish. So they had a bunch of these guys on today's 5-hour charter. So exciting this time of year when we got those kingfish around. Definitely spices things up. As you can see, no real big size to them, but they're a lot of fun regardless, trolling around. Real easy to troll around for those fish. If you've got your own boat, but you don't really know where to bottom fish out there, or you're not really comfortable going offshore, this is the type of fishing you can do really easily. All you need is like a number 1 or number 2 planer. You put like 3 or 4 rods out the back, 40 to 60 pound test to that planer, then about 12 to 18 feet of 60 pound test behind the planer to a spoon, a little snap swivel on the back of the planer and the front of the spoon, and it makes it really, really easy to catch a lot of these Spanish mackerel and kingfish. You're not going to catch any monster kingfish, no king of the beach winners trolling that way, but you're going to get a lot of action, and it's great fun for kids and beginning anglers, and it's a great way to just get used to working your way offshore. Right now, a lot of these fish that we're finding are right there around the artificial wrecks. Those are the wrecks that are right there on your charts. They're public information. So those 3, 5, and 9 mile wrecks around our area, you can go out there. They're covered with bait, and they're holding these mackerel and kingfish all around them. So also the crab traps. I forgot about the crab traps. All those crabbers put out their crab traps up and down the beaches, and those crab traps are basically like chum blocks. So those crab traps are filled with bait for the stone crabs, and they also will hold the greenbacks and stuff on that crab trap line underneath the buoy, and definitely hold those kingfish and mackerel around them too. The biggest kingfish from today's 5-hour charter on the hub with Captain Sal and Rob was caught off the crab trap lines. So you definitely want to be careful when you're trolling around those, because you don't want to hook the crab trap lines, because that's going to mean the crabber, when he's pulling it up, is probably going to hook himself, and you'll also lose your lure. So make sure you're not trolling into the crab trap lines, just around them. Definitely a good area to find the bait, and where you find the bait is where the kingfish and mackerel are hiding. So definitely an exciting time of year to go out there and get some of these fast and good eating and fun to catch fish, those kingfish and mackerel. Now we can talk about those hogfish. The hogfish bite's been going pretty darn well. This past week, didn't see a ton of them, but we were off Thursday for Thanksgiving. Tuesday, we saw a ton of them on the 10-hour trip. And today we were going to go out on a 10-hour again to go hogfish hunting, but unfortunately got canceled due to weather. So we only had one real hogfish-centric trip. So that's why we didn't have a ton of hogfish photos for tonight's show. But they're definitely biting well. We've been catching them really well on our 10-hour trip. And we've been catching them pretty darn well on the 5-hour trip. Today, the 5-hour half day with Captain Joe here in the photo, they caught quite a few hogfish, over 2 dozen hogfish. Not many of them were keepers, unfortunately, in the shallower half day bottom, but we're definitely seeing a lot of them caught on the 10-hour, and more of those are keeper size out there in a little bit deeper water. So good time to go out and get after those hogfish. So hogfish bites going good. Live shrimp, lighter tackle, definitely the 30 pound fluorocarbon to 40 pound fluorocarbon 4/0 hook, or a naked ball jig is a great option as well. Naked ball jigs, or the 4/0 hook with a little 1 ounce egg sinker set up in a Zanaka rig is a great option for those hogfish. Or a naked ball jig or a jig head. And then you tip it with live shrimp. Live shrimp's definitely our favorite bait to target those hogfish, but they also will eat the fiddler crabs, they'll eat sand fleas, rock shrimp, definitely a lot of different crustaceans those hogfish will go after. But live shrimp is what we like using because a lot of times with the live shrimp, you have a chance at catching some of those mangrove snapper or lane snapper while you're targeting those hogfish. So you never know what else you're going to catch. Those shrimp allow you to have a chance at some of that bycatch. Whereas if you're using fiddler crabs or sand fleas, you have a really good shot at hogfish, but you're not going to catch much else. So it's a little bit slower action. That's why those shrimp are our preferred bait for hogfish, but you definitely will catch a lot of other species on your way to the hogs. They're the most leader shy, unaggressive fish around the area, so it really takes a little bit of patience because you have to fish through those other fish to get to the hogfish. Luckily on the party boats with a lot of lines in the water, we have a lot of people helping us fish through those other fish, feed those other fish, get those other aggressive fish out of the way so we can catch those hogfish a little quicker and easier. So on a party boat, we don't have to chum, and it's a lot easier to get that hogfish bite going because there's more shrimp smell in the water. So a little different on a party boat. On your smaller buddy's boat or on a private charter, we definitely tend to chum a little bit more, or instead of chumming a little bit more, you have to be a little bit more patient because a lot of times it's going to take a little bit more time to fish through those more aggressive fish to get to those hogfish. So a little bit of hogfish trivia there. But again, guys, if you have any questions, pop them into those to that comment box, and I will do my best to get to answering all your questions. But here's another nice hogfish from I think this looks like a 10-hour trip. Definitely been seeing a lot of those hogfish on the 10-hour. If you want to go target hogfish, the 10-hour trips are definitely the best way to go because it gives you a lot more time to target those hogfish, and we can spend more time anchoring up. Anchoring up definitely allows us to target and dial in on those hogfish a little better. So anchoring is the way we target hogfish and the way you would target hogfish if you were going out in your own boat. So that's why on the 10-hour trip, it's a little better. The half-day trip, we're typically drift fishing because drift fishing allows us to get more action. And a lot of the times on half-day trips, we have a lot more beginning anglers on board the boat and a lot of people who don't really give a rip about hogfish. They just want to catch some fish and get some action going. So that's why we tend to drift more often on half-day trips, whereas 10-hour trips, we're going to anchor more because we're going after that quality, those mangrove snapper, those gag grouper, those red grouper, those hogfish. And right now, definitely the hogfish has been a big majority of our focused, but you never know. You never know what you're going to catch. That's the best part about near shore, offshore saltwater fishing. And what I always tell the people when they're talking about bass fishing versus saltwater fishing, it's like when you're bass fishing in a lake, you cast out that worm, you're going to catch one of maybe 3 species, or 4 or 5 species. I'm being facetious. But in near shore, offshore saltwater, you cast a line out, you never know what you're going to catch. You might catch one of 150 different species, and you never know what pelagic fish is going to swim up or what you're going to run across on the way out or back from that fishing hole. So definitely that's definitely why I really enjoy saltwater fishing, because you just never know what you're going to catch. But I digress. Let's see here. Here's Captain Frank showing off some hogfish from that Tuesday 10-hour trip. They definitely did really well on that Tuesday 10-hour all day. And we were hoping to get back out there after them today. But unfortunately, that weather kind of screwed us up. And we're going to talk about the weather here once we get through all these great photos. There's another nice hogfish. They're weird looking fish, man, but they have great eating, great taste in meat. So, a lot of people say they're really pretty, and then some people say they're really ugly. To me, I think they're really pretty because I know how good they taste. But I don't know. I don't know what do you think? You think they're ugly? You think they're pretty? Let me know in the comments. We'll have an ugly or pretty poll going on hogfish. Another hogfish there. Another hogfish there. And a kingfish. Smokey did catch his first kingfish. I know a lot of you guys watching the show. I've been razzing Smokey because he hasn't been catching the kingfish like he normally does on this fall run. But he did catch himself a kingfish, so I can't razz him too bad. But there was 3 kingfish caught on that trip, and Captain Joe caught the other 2. So it was pretty funny where the kingfish finally were biting. He didn't catch them all. He had to get some help. Oh, Smokey. Smokey's a great guy, but he's definitely hurting this kingfish fall run, having some trouble getting them dialed in as best. But you never know. Maybe that kingfish bite will turn around for Smokey. We did get a bunch of new reels from Bass Pro Shops. Smokey really likes those offshore angler jigging reels that we use for flatline fishing. So I bought 14 of them, so that way each boat has a couple of those flatline and rods and reels. And hopefully it will help us dial in a little bit more on those kingfish, because kingfish, they're a lot of fun, and they definitely add a lot of excitement to our 10-hour and 5-hour trips, because you're out there bottom fishing for grouper and snapper. You've set a flat line out, and all of a sudden you've got a kingfish on. Definitely is extra exciting. So we are excited to get more rods and reels into rotation. We went out and got 100 new 4-aught reels from Bass Pro Shops too, to make sure they're nice and new and primed up for your upcoming trip. So we're going to have a whole new set of tackle on our boats for rental gear. So you're going to always get fresh tackle at Hubbard's Marina. We spend a lot of time, energy, and especially money making sure that happens. So definitely looking forward to getting those new rods and reels into rotation. But let's work offshore. How did that 39-hour trip do? What did they catch? Let's take a peek. So bam, they had another great 39-hour trip. Lots of big gag grouper again, very similar to this last weekend's 39-hour trip, with some big gags, some nice big mangrove snapper, some yellowtail. They even caught a mutton snapper, some lane snapper, some almacos. Really good catch. We're going to rip through these photos real quick, and then we're going to look at a video of the catch from this morning as well. So then we'll talk a little bit more about these fish, and hopefully you'll have some questions for me. Nice gag groupers for sure. The gags are a little tough. I mean, on this 39-hour trip this morning, I was talking to a lot of guys coming off the boat, and our all-day trip was canceled, so I had a little bit more time to spend with these guys. It was pretty funny. A few people were saying to me, "Oh, I didn't get my keeper gag. I got broke off 4 or 5 times, but I didn't get my keeper gag." Well, unfortunately, all we can do is put you on the fish. Those gags are so tricky. They're so smart. They're so aggressive. And right now, they're extra aggressive and tricky. Will's going to talk a little bit about that in the video. You have to really be on top of your game. And if you hook up and you get dragged to the bottom and broke off or rocked up, that was your keeper gag. Unfortunately, you didn't get the luck of the draw to get him to the boat and get him in the box. But a lot of people caught multiple gags. Some people caught 1 or 2 big gags, and then other people struggled to catch a gag, but they got some nice big mangrove snapper on this trip. So there wasn't a ton. Not everybody caught multiple gags, but there was a good number of gags caught, probably in the low to mid 20s. Some scamp, some red grouper, probably solid 30, 35 keeper grouper on this trip, along with some big mangrove snapper. All this to say, we could have had 100 keeper gags on this trip if or probably even more than that, if every gag that we hooked was brought into the boat. A lot of people fishing lighter tackle for those gags. They were a little leader shy. Also, just sometimes you have to get lucky. Even if you know what you're doing, you have the right tackle to do it, you have all the right tools, you have all the right techniques. Sometimes you still don't land those gag grouper. They're a very smart, very aggressive fish. So don't get me wrong. Don't sit there thinking I'm saying a lot of people can't do this. I struggle landing these gag grouper every time. There's a lot of times where I'll hook up to a nice gag, get them up off the bottom, 2 or 3, 4 cranks, and I'm feeling confident I beat him, and then all of a sudden that reel goes and breaks me off in the bottom. So even Will, he'll talk about that too. It just they're tricky fish. So just wanted to comment on how a lot of times you'll go gag grouper fishing. You might not come home with a big cooler full of gags. It's not that they weren't there. It's just they're hard to land. They're very hard to land. Now, these big old mangrove snapper definitely makes up and fills in the gaps for me. I mean, I love catching mangrove snapper. They're very good eating fish. And in my opinion, they're one of the most fun fish to target and go after because if you are able to catch those gag grouper consistently, or excuse me, if you're able to catch those mangrove snapper consistently and catch them often, that really shows the skill level of the angler. Because catching mangrove snapper consistently and catching them often is not easy. They're a very quick biting, very smart, very leader shy, aggressive fish. So it takes a lot of practice to get dialed in on those mangrove snapper. And once you have them dialed in, that skill will transfer to catching mangrove or to catching gag grouper or to catching a lot of other species. Basically, if you conquer catching mangrove snappers consistently and catching them often, you're going to be able to catch pretty much anything out there that swims. I really honestly believe that. I was taught that at a young age by some salty fishermen on our 39-hour trips when I was fishing at 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I really took it to heart, and I really focused on mangrove snapper fishing when I was younger. Partly because I was a young kid, and those big gag grouper and amberjack just aren't a lot of fun when you can hardly see over the rail. But I really focused on mangrove snapper fishing, and to this day, I really enjoy mangrove snapper fishing. And I think and I feel, in my opinion, that it's what makes a good angler a great angler. When you're able to dial in on those mangroves and catch them often, you can go on a 39-hour trip and catch a 2-day limit of mangrove snapper every time you step on the boat. That is an expert angler, and it can be done. And it's definitely a long road, practice, but there's some cheats that will help you get there. One being on our website. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, you can go over here to the little search bar, and in the search bar, just type fishing tips and tricks. That will help you find our fishing tips and tricks page. And on our fishing tips and tricks page, we have our fishing tips page. We have our mangrove snapper secrets, and the mangrove snapper secrets video is an old video, so bear with the quality, but it's about a 12-15 minute video down here at the bottom on some mangrove snapper fishing tips. So that's a great option for you. Also, you can go to just saltstrong.com/Hubbard. So again, saltstrong.com/Hubbard. If you're interested, you can check out the mastery courses. Over here on the right, we have the mangrove snapper mastery course. That was a 3-day mangrove snapper fishing adventure with Saltstrong, and they took 3 days of fishing and incorporated it into a bunch of these 2, 3, and 4, and 5 minute videos and made this mangrove snapper mastery course. Actually, me on the boat the captains and crew from Hubbard's Marina on the boat showing you how to do this stuff on the water. So it's pretty cool. We also have the Grouper Mastery course, and you can get all 3 of those courses. Salt Strong's giving them away for Black Friday, and just because they like us at Hubbard's Marina, they're giving all 3 of those away for the price of one. And you get a free 1-year membership if you're interested. Again, that's just saltstrong.com/Hubbard. Those are both great tools that you can use to help dial in on those mangrove snapper. The one on our website's free. The Salt Strong one is $97, but you get 3 courses and you get that 1-year membership. So pretty good deal if you're interested. I really like Salt Strong myself. And it's amazing what they've done with my courses, because we can just go out there fishing and have some fun, and then all of a sudden they pump out these courses with just me talking and fishing. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy it, and it's firsthand, so a little different from me sitting here and talking about it, actually seeing it on the water. But let's get back into these photos. Some more gag grouper action. The gags were thick. Look at the size of these mangrove snapper too. I mean, I'm going to get back on the mangrove snapper train because it's just so much fun. And look at the size of that mangrove. Wow. Another nice gag grouper. A little bit of red grouper action going on. Big old mangrove snapper. Monster gag grouper. Look at that one. And he had his venting tool in his pocket to vent these fish that needed to go back as well. Got to have your venting tools on those 39-hour trips. It's real important you have your venting tools, because so often you'll catch a red snapper or catch an undersized gag grouper, or perhaps a out-of-season fish, or a fish that you can't keep because you're already up on your limit. And when you get those fish that you have to toss back when you're fishing out there in deeper water, you have to vent those fish in order for them to survive. So how you vent those fish is real easy. It's right on our website. I'll show you real quick. If you go to our website, let's go back to the website. Go to our website. Let's see if we can search it. I haven't searched this term yet. This new search bar is cool, but it's new, so I haven't tested this. So we're gonna test it live. A fish. Let's see if it pulls it up. I don't think it's gonna pull it up because it's actually not a page on our website. Yeah, it's not gonna pull it up. But it'll pull up the 39-hour page, and when you go to the 39-hour page, on the right side down here underneath the videos, you're going to see that here's a great place to learn the do's and don'ts of venting fish. And it's a Salt Strong page that we created with these guys. I'm going to play this video real quick. I know I've played it a bunch, but it's important, guys. So it's just a couple-minute video. For those of you who haven't seen it, it's super important that everybody knows how to vent a fish. So we're going to watch it real quick. All right, so I got the fish up off the bottom. When I felt that bite, I gave him a quick couple spins of the reel to hook that fish. Now I've got him hooked, and I'm up off the bottom, so I'm just going to finesse him. If he digs, I'm going to let him dig, and I'm just going to slowly reel him up. So he's digging a little bit. This, to me, feels like a nice snapper. Shaking his head a little bit. What's funny is a lot of these snapper species, they have kind of the same head shake, kind of a quicker head shake, a little easy to tell what's a snapper. And a lot of times the snapper species will kind of give up. I have a feeling here in a second we'll see my rod tip kind of come up a little bit, and he'll kind of give up a little. See right there, his head shakes. He stopped digging. He's just kind of coming up smoothly now. So with these red snapper, trick to these guys, get them vented quickly. And you never want to poke or try to vent the fish in his stomach. You always want to try to vent the fish right where his fin kind of comes down. You can use the pectoral fin as a target. You just lift up the scale and puncture right in there through his swim bladder, and you'll hear the air escape. Once that air escapes, he's ready to go back down to bottom. That air escaping is what allows him to swim back down to bottom. If you don't vent the fish,
he's going to float away and die. So it's very important that you vent the fish properly, get him back in the water quickly. That way he has a chance to go back down and live another day. That way you can catch him next year when he gets a little bit bigger.
Good little video there, and you can find it right on our website in order to learn some more about venting fish, because it's super important. But let's get back to the photos here real quick. We got a lot of questions stacking up. I know some of you guys are asking questions in the comments, and I'm going to get to your questions. I'm doing my best to copy and paste them so that way we can cover them towards the second half of the show. But let's get through these photos real quick. Some more gags. There's that mutton snapper caught on this 39-hour trip. Nice little surprise mixed in there. A little blurry photo, unfortunately, because that was a great fish. Nice big old gag. Another nice gag. There's a scamp and a gag. Calvin Brisker, all the way from Texas, drives all the way from Houston, Texas, to come fishing with us on this 39-hour trip. And he does it multiple times a year. Great guy. Pretty cool. Big old mangrove snapper. Look at the size of that gag. That is a great gag grouper. I wish it was a little clearer of a photo because beautiful fish. Big old gag. There's the jackpot winners. Big mangrove. Nice big old gag. Big old fat gag. And happy jackpot winners. So always fun to win the jackpot. On our longer range trips, we do those jackpots. So if you're on a 39 or 44-hour trip, we offer those jackpots, and basically largest grouper or largest snapper this time of year will earn you money if you enter the jackpot. If you don't enter the jackpot, it's pretty much guaranteed you're going to catch the biggest fish on the boat, but it's not going to win you any money because you're not in the jackpot. It's always funny how that works. Whenever you don't enter the jackpot, that's when you catch the big fish. I see it so often. It's pretty funny. All right, so let's give away a trip. Who wants to win a free fishing trip? We're going to give away a 5-hour half day for 2. We still got a 10-hour all day for 2 to give away. And then we are definitely over 300 live viewers, so someone's going to win a free 39-hour fishing trip. Remember, if you are picked as the lucky winner, you have to text us at 727-393-1947. I'm going to drop that number into the comments because every week when I say this, people ask me to leave the number. It's our main office number. It's right on our website, but I'll drop it into the comments regardless. So you just text our main office number. You can text or call us now at our main office number. And you text me with your home address. I'll send you out your free trip certificate. So, who won a 5-hour half day for 2? That's a $110 value, absolutely free, to Anne-Marie Rojero from Spring Hill. Anne-Marie Rojero from Spring Hill, congratulations on winning that free 5-hour half day for 2 people. Again, all you have to do to claim your trip, Anne-Marie, is text me at 727-393-1947, your home address, and we will go ahead and mail you out that certificate. All right, so we went over the photos. We showed you what we've been catching. I do want to show you real quickly the pile of fish from this weekend's
Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina.
Such a beautiful pile of fish. This week, our 39-hour that came in this morning did about just as good as the last 39-hour trip. This trip was definitely consistent, some really good action. Had to pick at them a little bit, had to grind it out, but at the end of the trip, had a nice pile of fish. Last week's 39-hour trip, the pile didn't look quite the same because Will McClure, our first mate, had to run out of town. This week, Will was there for piling up the fish, and he's piled up the gags on top of the pile. So we had a really good catch of gag grouper, but it definitely wasn't as gag grouper laden as the pile makes it look, but a beautiful pile nonetheless. So I want to show you this here real quick. Let's look.
Good morning, guys. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina. Captain Garrett and Jason and Will and Tammy just got in from a 39-hour trip, and they had a great catch. Another big pile of mangrove snapper, some nice scamp grouper, unfortunately some lionfish, lots of big gags though, real nice catch. Some big mangrove snapper. Those mangroves are as big as some of these gags. Some vermilions, some yellowtail, real nice catch. See a lane snapper or two hiding in there. Some Almaco jacks, some lesser amberjacks, couple nice scamp, another scamp hiding down there. Some really good eating fish. Some porgies, real nice catch of fish on this 39-hour trip. Captain Garrett piled them up back here. Some red grouper as well. So real nice pile. And Will's gonna come over here in a second and tell us a little bit more about the trip and how it went. But while we're waiting, guys, don't forget we have those Black Friday deals going on. Those Black Friday deals are gonna run for a few more days. So you still got time to get 20% off gift certificates. You got time to do the reel specials and lots of other stuff too. So come join us for the Black Friday deals. Will, looks like one heck of a catch, bud.
Yeah, we had a really good trip out there this weekend. Got some nice weather. Finally, these cold fronts are gone for the time being. And good grouper bite, good on the mangroves. Pretty much a steady trip, nighttime and daytime. The fishing was decent throughout the whole trip. And the gags were biting on several spots, and they break your line right now.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying how many gags they lost, how many they broke off. They're aggressive right now, huh?
They're very. I think the numbers aren't too thick to where everybody has a rock to go inside of. And I'm the last 7 I think I've hooked. I caught 2 and lost 5.
Oh my gosh! On the big tackle with the 9-aught?
No, 80. But
I got you. You're not 125 with your 9-aught?
No, not yet. But they will break your line right now. So we lost so many more that are in this pile.
Ah, nice catch of mangroves though. I see some really big mangroves.
Big mangroves. There's actually a mutton that's as big as all these mangroves that might win the jackpot too.
There's nice mutton.
There's a big jackpot way off this trip, guys. Lots of high teens grouper and lots of big mangroves.
Very cool, very cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Will. Thank you.
Sir. No problem.
Thanks, Jason.
Got it.
Nice pile of fish.
I'm not going to watch the rest of that video. But definitely a great pile of fish. Great catch. They had a really good time out there. I'm going to get into the questions now, if I can get this drawn over here. So we went over the 39-hour... Oh, before I switch screens, one thing I forgot to show you guys was the crazy deals we have going on in our shop right now. Crazy deals. So our Saltiga LD50 2-speed, that's the reel that I personally fish with and prefer. That's the reel I fully recommend, and I highly recommend. It's normally $499, $500. On Black Friday special, it's only $380. That is a $120 discount. We're giving it away at pretty much wholesale cost. And then the Saltist, the Daiwa Saltist LD50 2-speed is normally $369. We're selling that for $275. So almost a $100 discount on that reel as well. They make a great pairing with our Bull Bay custom Hubbard's Marina rods. We got tons of the rods in the shop, plenty of the reels, and our Black Friday deals are still running. They're going to run for a little while longer. You got time to come see us and take advantage of them. So let's look at those deals here real quickly. Right on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, you can find that video that talks about the deals. So we're going to pull up the video so you can see it real fast and talk about it. So hang on one second.
It's Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, showing off our Black Friday deals. These are our Daiwa Saltists, the blue and black, and then Daiwa Saltigas in the chrome and blue. These Saltigas normally retail for $499, but for Black Friday we got them on sale for $380. That's right, $380. That's $110 off. These Daiwa Saltist LD50s retail for a total of $369. We got them on sale for $275, almost $100 off. Crazy deals on the reels. Then we also got our Hubbard's Marina killer sticks. These are the custom Hubbard's Marina rods that we built for ourselves a while back. These rods are on 20% off. We've got tons of our Bull Bay custom rods. These are the Bull Bay rods that we had custom built for Hubbard's Marina by Bull Bay Rods. These guys are not on sale for Black Friday, but we've got tons of them to match up with your Saltigas if you'd like. We've got tons of these Spro jigs, and these Spro jigs are gonna be 50% off. That's right, 50% off for Black Friday. We've got 20% off gift certificates, and we've got tons of vertical jigs. The Ahi Deception jigs are 40% off. We've got venting tools on 30% off. We've got, what else we got? We got jackets, Hubbard's Marina winter wear for 30% off. We've got $5 Hubbard's Marina hats. We've got tons of Daiwa jigs. Those are the Daiwa slow pitch jigs, and we're doing those at 25% off. So come down and see us in the shop. These deals are gonna be running until they're going to be running until the products are gone, which shouldn't take too much time. This morning we already had a couple people come in and grab these reels. These reels are going to fly off the shelf quickly, so make sure you come and see us. And then the gift certificates, if you want to get the gift certificates, you can buy those online. You don't have to actually come see us. If you'd rather get the gift certificates online, the coupon code is BLACK.
Here in person. So as I was saying, the gift certificates, you can get gift certificates for 20% off. You can get up to $1,000 in gift certificates at 20% off. So if you buy $1,000 in gift certificates, that's only $800. So it effectively gives you 20% off any trip fare that you use that gift certificate for. That gift certificate can be purchased right on our website. If you go to our website and go to the home page, so hubbardsmarina.com, right on our home page you'll see the store. Under the store you'll see gift certificates. The gift certificates page, you can go click that blue button, buy gift certificates, but make sure you read the gift certificate policies in full. These gift certificate policies are real important, so make sure you read those in full before you buy a gift certificate. And also make sure you use the gift certificate coupon code. It is not automatically 20% off because some people are buying gift certificates for their family and they don't watch us on Facebook or follow us on YouTube and they don't know about the deal. So in order to get 20% off, you have to use the coupon code, which is just Black Friday. All one word, all lowercase, Black Friday. That'll give you 20% off your gift certificate. You could buy $20 in gift certificates, or you could buy $1,000 in gift certificates for 20% off if you use the coupon code Black Friday, plus all the other deals that I mentioned. The deals on rods, reels, tackle, gear, souvenirs, those are in-shop only deals. The gift certificate deals you can get right on our website. So take advantage of those deals. Also, we're going to give away a 10-hour all-day trip. I think it's time. And why we're pulling this up, we also have our 2020 specialty trip schedule coming out tomorrow. A lot of people are asking about booking their 12-hour extreme, 39-hour, or 44-hour trip for 2020. Those trips become public tomorrow at 11 a.m. Don't call us at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. You can book it right on our website at 11 a.m. Right at 11 a.m. you can go on our website, go to fishing trips. Under fishing trips, scroll down to specialty trip schedule. On the specialty trip schedule page, it will, at 11 a.m. you'll see the 2020 specialty trip schedule, and you can go ahead and book those trips right here. You can book online through Make a Reservation. You could call us. You can come into the shop. Whatever you want to do, you can use all those different methods or avenues to book your trip. But 11 a.m. tomorrow is when you can do that. Not a second before, not a minute before, not 10 minutes before. 11 a.m. is when that schedule comes out. So definitely link up with us tomorrow and make sure you get advantage of booking some 39-hour trips or 44-hour trips or 39 or 12 hours, whatever you want to book. Schedule comes out 11 a.m. tomorrow. 10-hour all day for 2 goes to, drum roll please, Gabriel. I don't know how to spell pronounce your last name, bud, but you know who you are, and I know you're watching because you watch every Sunday. I appreciate you guys. Congratulations, Gabriel. You won a 10-hour all day for 2. So what happened to my notes? Let's pull that back up and let's answer some of these questions that we had. All right, so let's get into these questions. We talked about the 2020 schedule coming out tomorrow, the Black Friday deals. We've got a super light trip coming up this Tuesday. Tuesday, as in not tomorrow, but the next day, Tuesday, we have a super light load on that 39-hour trip. Right now, only 25 people going. If you go to Fishing Trips and Weather Links, we've got some really bad weather coming in here tonight and in tomorrow, and that's going to make the weather pretty darn bumpy Monday. Let's look at it because it's so impressive. So Monday, December 2nd, 7.9, almost 8-foot seas, 30 knot gusts. That's almost tropical. That is tropical storm force winds in 8-foot seas, 4 a.m. That's not too long from now. So it's going to get pretty nautical tomorrow. But then Tuesday, it calms down quickly. By our 39-hour leave, it's only 3 foot. And throughout the whole midweek 39-hour trip, it's 3 foot, and it's calming down to 1.5 foot. So super nice weather for that Tuesday 39-hour trip that we have coming up. And it's got a super light load on it too. So super light load, super good weather. Hopefully another great catch if you want to join us. A question I saw was, what type of fish are you likely to catch in January on a 5-hour half-day trip? In January, it doesn't matter what time of year you come out with us. On our 5-hour half-day trips, we typically catch a majority of what we call a gray snapper. It's also known as a white grunt or Key West grunt. Then we catch some porgies, some black sea bass, that kind of stuff. And then you have a good shot at hogfish anytime the water is cool. Those hogfish bite real well. So from October-ish all the way through April into early May, we catch a lot of hogfish on those 5-hour half-day trips. But right on our website, if you go to Fishing Trips and you click on the fishing trip you're interested in, each one of our Fishing Trips pages has a video to show you what you can catch, has a large section on, where is it? There, what you can expect your catch should be. And then we even got photos. We had photos. New website screwed me up. We don't have photos, but we got a video with photos in it. And we've got that big paragraph showing you telling you what you can catch. So lots of information there on the website to help answer your questions about any type of trip. Try to really put almost too much information on our website to make it easy for you guys. But typically on that January trip, your normal half-day fish plus a chance for those hogfish. Another question was, I just bought a SAL 50, so I assume they're talking about either a Saltiga or a Saltis 50. What size braid would you spool it with for a 10-hour trip? Typically on a 10-hour trip, I'm fishing 40, 50, or 60-pound test. If I got my Saltiga, I put 60-pound braid on it because it's got 40 pounds of drag. My Saltist, I've got 40 pounds of braid on it, or 40-pound braid on it. It's got about 35 pounds of drag, so I use it more as a snapper reel. But you could get away with even putting 50-pound braid probably on that Saltist. And then always want a long top shot. On a 10-hour trip, your top shot should probably be every bit of 30 to 40 foot. And I would probably on a 10-hour trip put 40, 50-pound test on it. And then a 60-pound leader if I'm going for a red grouper, a gag grouper, or a 30 or 40-pound leader if I'm going after those hogfish or snapper species. Let's see here. Another question was, years ago, I had great luck with those saltwater rattle traps on the North Jetty and Johns Pass, mainly on the outgoing tide. Anybody still using them in the area with any luck? Yes, for sure. The rattle traps were my grandfather's favorite, one of my grandfather's favorite inshore artificial lures. Still one of my dad's favorite inshore artificial lures. I definitely use it quite a bit. They work well. They definitely get those fish excited. But that's going to be more of a summertime bait when those snook are stacked up in the passes. They're real reactionary to that rattle trap. This time of year, water's colder. Those fish are more lethargic. They're not really going to be chasing around that rattle trap. They like a slower moving lure. This time of year, dragging a soft plastic paddle tail along the bottom, or a swim bait right along the bottom, or even cut dead bait on the bottom is a great option for those fish. Another question I saw was, what is the best bait for flounder? Flounder like mud minnows, those really unique looking, almost snook looking minnows that have vertical stripes like sheep's head. You catch them in the back bays around that black mud. You can catch them around Fort DeSoto on the beaches. Mud minnows, real unique. They don't sell them at bait shops, but mud minnows is flounder crack. But just a normal shrimp will catch you a flounder or a greenback. I like using shrimp most of the time when I'm targeting flounder. If I'm using live bait, my favorite artificial lure for flounder is the DOA shrimp. That DOA shrimp, if you're working it right, will catch you almost anything that swims. They're a really, really good artificial shrimp. They're the original, longest running, just like Hubbard's Marina, so you know they're good. And DOA artificial shrimps, if you're working them right, you're going to catch a lot of fish. And what I mean by working them right is you got to go real slow, retrieve it real slow, because you're mimicking a shrimp, and those shrimp move very slow. So if it doesn't take you 5-10 minutes to retrieve that bait, you're reeling too fast. So if you think you're going slow enough, slow down even more. That's the trick to those DOA shrimp, especially this time of year. But a really good lure nonetheless. Another question I saw was, I noticed a lionfish on the 39-hour trip this morning. Are you seeing less or more lionfish? We catch a lot of lionfish out deep. Inshore, or let me rephrase that. Near shore, we don't see quite as many lionfish, and we don't catch them as often because a lot of people are spearfishing near shore in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, even up to 80, 100 foot of water. There's a lot of spear fishermen around, and there's a lot of effort and a lot of lines in the water and a lot of pressure. So those lionfish stay kind of beat down. When you get out there past 120, 150 foot of water, especially out there past 200, 250 foot of water, those lionfish are thick. On our deep drop fishing trips, when we do a few of those, a lot of times on those deep water wrecks in 400, 500 foot of water, lionfish are everywhere. We dropped this underwater GoPro housing thing down that this guy had on this artificial wreck, or not an artificial wreck, on a natural wreck in like 450 foot of water, and that was the most lionfish I've ever seen on an artificial or on a wreck. So lionfish love big structure like wrecks, rock piles, big ledges, and the deeper you go, the more you see, because there's less spear fishermen, less anglers taking those fish out of the water and killing them. So we see them out deep a lot, too often. They're definitely a huge problem in our fishery. So to answer your question, are we seeing less? Are we seeing more? I would say we're seeing a consistently bad number of lionfish, but they're very good eating, and that's the trick. We need to get people excited about eating those lionfish. They are definitely in my top 5 favorite eaten fish. So lionfish have a crazy good white, almost translucent meat. They're like a mix between grouper, hogfish, and lobster. They're crazy, really good eating. And that's not me embellishing, well, maybe a little bit, but they're very good eating fish. Lionfish, one of the best for sure. And the more people want to eat them, the more commercial fishermen will target them, and the less lionfish there'll be. Hopefully we can wipe them out. Let's see here. What is the recommended test line for a 39-hour trip was another question I saw earlier. So again, gonna point that out on the website. If you go to hubbardsmarina.com, go to fishing trips, go to long range, you'll find our 39-hour trip. We have a huge tackle suggestion area on the 39-hour trip. What to bring, what bait to use, and then recommended tackle. Lots of good information there. But typically on a 39-hour trip, you're bringing 3 rods for the most part. You're bringing 1 rod to fish for snapper, 1 rod to fish for like red grouper, red snapper, smaller gags, depending on the time of year. And then 1 bigger rod that you might even use for trolling, or you're using mainly for big gags or amberjack if they're open. So typically my lighter snapper rod's going to have 40, 50 pound test on it, and it might have as light as a 40, 50 pound leader, or this time of year when I'm fishing for snapper, I'm using 50, 60 pound tests because I might hook a gag. So that's my snapper setup. Then I have that medium range setup, 60 to 80 pound test, 60 to 80 pound leader, and then my heavy setup with 100, 125 pound test and those big hooks. What I always say is aughts, because I was raised in the generation of the big Penn reels and Daiwa reels. So those lighter snapper rods would be like a 4-aught. Those medium rods would be like a 6-aught. Those heavy rods would be like a 9-aught. But someone suggested, and I think it's smart nowadays, so many reel companies have their own sizes. So someone suggested I start adding drag strength to those suggestions. So my snapper rod with 40, 50 pound test would be like 25, 30, 35 pounds of drag. My medium rod with 60, 80 pound test would be like 35, 45 pounds of drag. My super large rod with 100, 125 pound test is as much drag as I could find. 50 plus pounds. Anything with 50 plus pounds of drag is going to work. Don't use a spinning rod. Spinning rods do not work for that medium or large fish. When you're in a party boat setting, deep water, bottom fishing, they just don't work. Because if you catch a 20-pound gag grouper, getting that fish turned around and off the bottom with a spinning rod in a party boat setting, especially in these big ledges that we're fishing, is impossible. You can't drop that rod to the rail. You can't work them out like you have to, and you're just not going to win the battle. So don't grouper fish with spinning rods, please. If you're going to do that, do a light tackle, private charter, and we can target an area where that's more conducive, less lines in the water. You can fish for gags with light tackle, but you have to be in a unique setting in order to do that. Let's see here. What's the average amount of fish you can catch in a 5-hour half-day trip? Well, a 5-hour half-day trip is our shortest trip, closest to shore, with the shortest amount of fishing time, kind of meant for beginning anglers and their families, young children. So it's great fun, even advanced anglers. I have a lot of fun going on those 5-hour trips because you're seeing all these young anglers getting hooked on fishing, and it's just a lot of fun. You don't have all day, you don't have all weekend. At least you get out in the water, drink some beers, and catch a few really good eating white grunts, or what we call gray snapper. But I mean, if you know what you're doing and the fishing's good, you can catch as many as 30, 40 white grunts or gray snappers. If it's a little slow, you might struggle to catch 10, 15, 20. But it kind of specifically pertains to your skill level. As far as asking how many fish you can catch on a 5-hour trip, how much do you go fishing offshore? What kind of tackle do you have? Have you done this type of fishing before? That would help me kind of dial in. But what I always tell people is, hey, we're going to put you on the fish. The rest is up to you. And we're going to try real hard to make sure they're cooperating. And we're going to keep trying to find the best bites. But ultimately, how many fish you catch is up to you. Another question I saw, which was pretty unique, are those hogfish only caught on daytime trips? To answer your question, I don't think... I can't say that. I've seen it happen before, but 99.9% of the time when hogfish bite, it is daylight. Hogfish are a daytime biting fish. They're they're very unaggressive, very leader shy, very smart fish. Nighttime, I don't think they're out and about too much feeding. They're primarily a daytime predator. So daytime is when we catch those hogfish. Another question I saw were, do you sell old rods and reels? We don't sell, or actually, yeah. We have old reels, and when I say old, they're refurbished, old school Penn, American made, solid metal Penn reels. Those are the only Penn products we carry in our shop back when they were American made and American operated, and they made really good products. Those old metal, super heavy Penn reels. We got 4, 6, and 9/0 in the shop. And we also, actually, we don't have 9/0. I bought all those. We have some 6/0 left though. And we do have some old reels in the shop, but I don't recommend that. I mean, we've got some solid glass 7 and 8-foot rods that are only $80. And if you're on a trip with us, you get 10% off that. So you could pick up a brand new rod for $75, and our killer sticks are $120. They're on 20% off right now. So those are like $100 pretty much custom rods. The Bull Bay rods are my favorite and the best, but they are more like $250, so they are a little bit more pricey. Someone else said, not meaning to change the subject, but how is baby Jack doing? Baby Jack's doing well. Let me see if we can't get him in here. We'll see if my wife will bring him in. But Jack is doing good. To answer your question, my son is over 15 pounds, and he's larger than a keeper gag. He's 26 inches now. He's in the 100th, over the 100th percentile for height, and almost in the 100th percentile for weight. Go figure. Let's see here. Another question. I don't know what this question was pertaining to, but I found it interesting, so I do want to cover it real quick. Someone asked, any level of experience required? What do you recommend for those starting out? So that was, I guess, in pertaining to all our trips. And no, you don't need any experience to do a 5-hour trip. A little experience helps for a 10-hour trip, but even a 10-hour trip, you can get out there as a beginner. And the 5 or 10-hour trips are a great way to start. For a first-time angler who's never been offshore fishing before, keep watching the show. Check out our fishing tips and tricks page on our website. Maybe think about doing that Salt Strong deal that's going on. Again, saltstrong.com/Hubbard. That's a really good option. Salt Strong has a ton of videos and helpful information to get you beefed up on your fishing knowledge. And then try some trips. I can't tell you how much I've learned going out on these party boat trips and just watching other people and talking to other people and learning other walks and ways of life, because fishing is one of those things. You can fish here in St. Pete and you could travel 4 hours north to Panama City, or 6 hours north to Panama City and the Panhandle of Florida, and they're going to do things totally different. Or you could go 6 hours south across the state to Miami, they're going to do things totally different. Or you could go up to South Carolina 10 hours away and things are totally different. And that's the cool thing about fishing, is when you go out on these party boat trips, especially the longer range party boat trips where there's a lot of experienced anglers, everybody is from a different area, a different type of fishing, and everybody does things a little different. And you can see what works, you can see what really doesn't work, and you can talk to the crew that's been doing it a long time. Guys like John Martin, our fishing coach, Will McClure has been doing this 16, 17 years. Captain Brian, who's been fishing longer than I've been alive. My older cousin, Captain Garrett, who's the man. All these guys willing to help you, willing to chat with you, and a great way to learn. But if you're a totally inexperienced fisherman near shore and offshore and saltwater, start with a 5-hour trip. If you like it, do a 10-hour trip. Maybe do 2 or 3 10-hour trips. If you like them, try a 12-hour extreme trip. If you like that, do a 39-hour trip. 20 hours of fishing time, 70 to 100 miles from shore, 2-day bag limit. You'll fall in love, hopefully. So definitely start with the 5-hour, do a 10-hour, do a couple 10 hours, and then try a specialty trip, like a 12 or 39-hour trip. And that's going to be the way that you build up your experience level. Each trip has a learning curve. The first 5-hour trip that you've ever been on, first time ever near shore or offshore fishing in saltwater, it's going to be a learning curve. Then first 10-hour trip, little different species, another little learning curve. You get out there to deep water on a 12-hour extreme trip or 39-hour, another pretty solid learning curve. And then doing long-range overnight trips like a 39-hour trip, there's another little learning curve. What do I need to bring? What don't I need to bring? All that kind of information. But it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy what we do and what our family business is, because we get the pleasure of taking guys and gals like you out there and watching people evolve. And it's so cool to watch someone come out in a 5-hour who's never been fishing, come back all fired up, do a 10-hour next time they're in town. And then all of a sudden you see them on a 12-hour extreme or 39-hour, and then 2 years down the road they've got their own boat and now they're starting their own charter business. It's really cool. It's the evolution of an angler, and it's fun to watch. Another question I saw is, what is the best bait this time of year for those gags? Big live bait. Lately, the big live bait has been king, big pinfish, big pigfish, squirrelfish, lizardfish. If it's big and it's lively, it's working well for those gags. The dead bait will be working well. The big pieces of dead bait were working well. It seems like the past week or two, the big live baits are where it's at. But as the water gets colder, those big dead baits will work too. I really like using a double thread fin, cutting both the tails, slowly dropping that down by putting a lot of pressure on the spool with my thumb so it doesn't spin. You get those double dead thread fins down to the bottom. It seems to work really well. Let's see here. Or bonita strips. Bonita strips, bad to the bone gag bait. Another question. Most people think hogfish are snappers. Some people even call them hog snapper. Aren't they actually in the wrasse family? Yes, you are correct. A hog snapper or a hogfish is not a snapper at all. It's not even in the snapper family. It's a wrasse. And that's important to know. Learning the biology behind these fish is just as important as knowing how to identify them and how to cook them. Because if you know their biology, you're going to be able to more easily target them, more easily present a bait more naturally to them, and typically catch more of them. And the reason why is wrasse don't feed on the bottom like snapper. Wrasse will be cruising above the bottom. So those hogfish a lot of times are up above the bottom when a spear fisherman isn't swimming around, or there's not anything scaring them. Those hogfish are going to be cruising just off the bottom. So that's why lighter weights, when you're using a really light knocker rig or a small jig head or a small naked ball jig, is a little better, because a lot of times you're going to get that fish up in the water column. He's actually going to hit that live shrimp as it goes down to bottom. But they cruise right along the bottom, and they're looking down at the bottom for crustaceans. So that's why that lighter tackle works, and that's why those naked ball jigs work, because when you cast that naked ball jig away from the boat and it's at a big high angle away from the boat, and all you do is just lift your wrist up a little bit and you're bouncing that lure like 4 to 6 inches off the bottom. As it's, when you cast it out and it's at a real large angle, every time you bounce it, that angle gets a little bit more steep until all of a sudden that lure's worked back to the boat and now it's straight up and down. That you're working a large area, and what you're doing every time that thing bounces is creating a little puff of sand. And that little puff of sand is what that hogfish is looking for, because he's looking for that shrimp trying to bury himself in the bottom, or that crab wrestling on the bottom. And that puff of sand gets their attention. They come over, they see that shrimp on the naked ball jig, and they attack it. So that's why we do pretty well with those naked ball jigs. You can use a jig head in the same fashion, even a knocker rig. That's why I always cast my knocker rig out away from the boat, because that puts more drag on the line and gets that hook further from that lead. It makes it drop to the bottom more slowly. You get a chance to catch it on the way to the bottom. Then if it makes it to the bottom, I work it the same way as that naked ball jig, just bouncing it a little bit on the way back to the boat. Let's see here. What kind of fish do you like? Someone asked. I kind of have a top 5 eaten fish. I mean, I really like mangrove snapper, really like those gray snapper or white grunts. Definitely in the top 5 there. They're plentiful, they're bountiful, easy to catch, and they're good eating. White grunt or the gray snapper that we catch on our 5-hour half day, I can honestly tell you is one of my favorites. They're just so mild, so good eating. Doesn't matter what you put on them, they're just good eating fish. But the unique ones that I really like, definitely lionfish, hogfish, barrelfish, which is a deep water fish, also known as an escalar, yellow edge grouper. But my favorite grouper are either a scamp grouper or a strawberry grouper. Those smaller grouper, a scamp only has to be 16 inches to keep. A strawberry grouper or a red hind, they don't have any size limit. So you can catch them this big and keep them. And those smaller grouper don't have these big meaty chunks to them. The consistency of the meat is super soft and delicate. And oh man, they just melt in your mouth. So those strawberry grouper, those scamp grouper, definitely my favorite grouper species. So I would definitely say those. Mahi, that's up there. Wahoo, cobia. I really like all food. I don't know if you've met me before, but I like a lot of different food. All right, I've got a couple more questions I want to answer real quick, and then we'll give away this 39-hour trip. I know I'm a little over on time here, guys, and I know I didn't answer everybody's questions. I was mainly copy and pasting questions from earlier in the show. So if you asked a question later in the show and I didn't get your question answered, I'll go back through and try to answer your questions by typing it out to you. So another question I saw was, are live shrimp provided on the 10-hour trip? We have cut squid and thread fins. We provide all the dead bait you need. If you want some specialty live bait to target something unique, that would be something you would need to purchase at the dock or bring yourself. We do have shrimp available on the dock, but we don't provide them for that 10-hour trip. Another question was, are there slow pitch jig fishermen on your trips? If so, do they outfish others? We have a lot of slow pitch jig fishermen, more and more every day, that fish on our trips. Tuesday's super light 39-hour trip would be a great trip for vertical jig or slow pitch fishermen to join us, because lighter loads mean more room around the boat. But yes, to answer your question, we have a lot of slow pitch jig fishermen. The largest gag grouper that was caught last year was like 42, 46 pounds. It was big. It was big, and it was caught in a slow pitch jig. That mutton snapper you saw in the photos earlier, that was caught on a slow pitch jig. So slow pitch jigs sometimes will do very well and catch some really quality fish. To me, I enjoy it. Slow pitch jigging definitely works. Captain Anthony and Rich Golis on our 12-hour extreme trips really like slow pitch jigging. It's a very unique type of fishing. It's kind of the new hot craze. It's very expensive and difficult to get into. I'm still kind of navigating the waters myself. Long story short, it's basically vertical jigging, but it's an asymmetrical jig. So instead of just working up and down quickly, as it goes up, it kind of flutters back down because of its asymmetrical shape. So it's a slower falling jig, which typically allows more species to bite it. So they're catching, instead of just certain species with vertical jigs, they're catching a little bit of everything with these slow pitch jigs. But we have a lot of different unique anglers that I can get you in touch with that are really experts in the slow pitch jigging. I am by no means a slow pitch expert. I'm lazy. I like to get my dead bait or live bait to the bottom, and I like to catch fish as quickly as I can. And that is not slow pitch jigging. Another question was, are lionfish hard to clean? Lionfish are not hard to clean. They're very similar to cleaning a grouper. it's pretty easy to get that meat off there. Just make sure you don't poke yourself while you're doing it. And they're very good eating. So not hard to clean at all. Definitely, if you catch one, kill it. You're not allowed to throw it back. Kill it and throw it in your fish box or throw it in a bucket. Keep it somewhere safe to where you're not going to poke yourself. Take it home and fillet it. You will not regret it. But that's all the time I've got. I'm already 14 minutes over here. If I go any later, people are going to start getting upset. So we're going to wrap this thing up. And I wanted to show you guys baby Jack, but wife texted back. He is sleeping, so he's not making a guest appearance tonight. Don't forget, guys, we have that 39-hour trip to give away still, but hopefully we'll see you in the shop sometime soon for those Black Friday deals. They're going to be running for another week or so. Get them while they're hot. The Black Friday coupon code is, again, just Black Friday, all one word, lowercase. You can buy those right on our website. You can come in the shop and buy them in person, or you can buy them over the phone. Gift certificate deal will be going for a little while, but don't miss out, because at a certain point, they're going to get cut off. You don't want to miss out on 20% off gift certificates. Got that super light load on the Tuesday 39-hour trip coming up. We've got 3 39-hour trips in the month of December. The first 3 Tuesdays of December are all 39-hour trips, lighter loads, really good gag fishing. We've only got 1 Friday trip in December. That's the first Friday in December. We got that 39-hour trip. Got tons of 12-hour extremes left before Gags close at the end of this year. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Don't forget, next Sunday we'll be here again, 8:30 p.m. Tell your friends. Every Friday morning, 8:15, check out Fox Channel 13 News. You can also just Google Fox 13 News Tampa Bay, find their website. You can watch it live on their website, 8:15 every Friday morning. We have our Good Day Tampa Bay segment with Russell Rhodes where we're talking fishing. And that's all I can think about right now. Don't forget saltstrong.com/Hubbard if you want to take advantage of that buy one, get 2 free deal. That's another great option. All right. I have talked enough. I got to go to bed. But before I go to bed, I'm going to get through all your comments. So if you commented and asked a question and I didn't answer it here in the video, I'm going to go back through and answer your questions in the comments. Don't forget, you can text me, 727-393-1947. Again, 727-393-1947. And for those asking about slow pitch jigging, Gabriel Gizbazan tag the man, Benny Ortiz. That's the angler who is the expert in slow pitch jigging. So scroll up in the comments. You'll see Benny Ortiz is tagged. If you got slow pitch questions, personal message that dude. He's the expert. All right. Let's see here who won a 39-hour fishing trip absolutely free. That's a $369 value. Absolutely free. Let's see who it was. And we got another giveaway, surprise giveaway after that. So don't forget about the surprise giveaway. Greg Roberts, watching from Tampa. Tampa winner, Mr. Greg Roberts. Congratulations, Greg, on that lucky win on that 39-hour trip. Also, we've got another surprise giveaway. Remember, if you got picked as a winner, you do have to shoot me a text, 727-393-1947, with your home address so I can send you your free stuff. And then the other giveaway is a special one. We've got a 3-hour private tour giveaway. So this is something unique. And the lucky winner on that one is going to be Brianna Flounder. Brianna Flounder, you won a 3-hour hub giveaway. That's just a cruise on the hub around sunset. Brianna Flounder. Reach out to us, guys, if you were one of the lucky winners. We'll see you next Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. for another live stream show. Remember, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us or like us on Instagram, follow our pages, tell your friends, and let's go fishing, guys. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning in and spending your Sunday with me, guys.